Deku straight away starts fanboying, asking All Might for his autograph and taking a couple of pictures. All Might just sits there and laughs. He asks Deku for his name and asks what quirk he had. Deku would smirk a little bit, explaining it and transforming himself, showing All Might all of his abilities, cycling through a couple as he explains. All Might is of course impressed by this, seeing the selection and the variety of abilities Deku had, thinking Deku could be his successor. He shakes that off his mind as he gets Deku to help him collect the sludge villain. They chat for a bit as Deku's not knocked out this time, Deku telling his aspirations for going to UA and how he's going to get into All Might. All Might smirks hearing this. He knew he could get into. Deku, in the end, takes a selfie with All Might and they would go their separate ways. All Might would tell him he would be excited to see him get a UA someday before they would both jump off. Deku would be left alone with this, not knowing what he meant, like, at all. He would just shove it to the back of his head and keep walking home, sending Bakugo the photo. As he walks home, he thinks, learning from this experience, knowing from here on he had to always have options on deck just in case. There is no second sludge villain attack because I'm way too slack to do it honestly, and this version of Bakugo, there's no way he's getting caught by the sludge villain. Yeah. From there, the 10-month training period would start. Deku and Bakugo, now free, decided to work with Fat Gum more and more, deciding to even take the Pro Hero license exam. They got recommended by Fat Gum personally and accepted on a technicality. They would go through the tests as in canon, first test being the ball on the touchpad. Deku would shield his touchpads with clamshells using a pill that contained chameleon, which I know is gross and probably illegal, but you know, let's just say it was a blood sample or something. With this, he blends in, hiding from his competition and sending out tendrils to put his balls on their screen thing. Pause. In the end, him and Bakugo would both pass easily, Bakugo taking much more of a forward route. The second exam would come and Deku and Bakugo would work together. Deku would use his quirk to support structures, build webbing and stop falling debris, even shooting out webbing like Spider-Man. With this, the two of them completely passed their hero license exam. Now in this timeline, they have their hero license pre-UA, around 9 months before school starts, taking the rest of the time to do more work with Fat Gum. Due to this, they would go into the streets more, looking for street level foes like vigilantes and stuff. Through this, Deku and Bakugo would get loads of combat experience. Their quirks would get way better and Deku would upgrade once more. He keeps the 4 transformations at once, but due to him eating calamari so much, he can now memorize this octopus transformation. You know, it was like, it's his first transformation, the tentacle ones. He can do that just if he wants, even if he hasn't eaten it, because he's used it so much, though it is not strong, and it can't go like as quick or as fast, you know. Anyways, this goes on for the whole rest of the 8 months, the two of them getting recommendations by him, but deciding to decline. They tell him they wanted to do it their way. Fat Gum of course respects this, and he wishes them well. The two of them go home and sleep the night off, the UA entrance exam coming up the very next day. The next day rolls around and the two of them wake up, getting ready early in the morning, stretching and getting over some last minute study. Deku opens his pill cabinet, taking one of each and gobbling them down, knowing he could be up for anything. He cracks his neck and walks to Bakugo, picking him up as Inko drives them over. They would have a little bit of a chat in the car, Inko asking them if they were nervous or anything, which they'll both say no to, eventually making it, walking through the gates of UA and into the written part of the entrance exam. Due to them being with Fat Gum for so long, they would have learnt a lot more about Hero Society, so, you know, it wouldn't be an issue for them, like the theory exam, and, you know, they both made it in canon, so let's be real. Then comes the prac exam. They go down and are sat in a huge auditorium, President Mike explaining the robots and how they work. Deku and Bakugo during this whole chat would just be yapping, taking bets on who they think's gonna get more points in the exam, until, like in canon, a voice shuts them down. What is this blasphemy? UA is a professional establishment. To have a mistake on the exam form is egregious. Along with that, you haven't done anything about these two talking the whole time. Ida stops and points right at Deku and Bakugo. They look back at him like, why do you say F me for? Bakugo stands right up, pissed. Sit down 4 hours before I make you. The audacity to even speak to us is astounding. Deku would pull Bakugo back down, starting to talk as well. Yeah, plus, I'm pretty sure he's about to get to the robot thing, like, you just made yourself look stupid. President Mike chimes in. Yeah, he's actually right. All of you need to sit down. Ida hearing this is like, wow, I would never. He sits down and President Mike would continue. He explains the 0-pointer and they would all get split up. Deku walking over to his side, noticing he wasn't with Bakugo. Knowing Bakugo would make it into a competition, he decided to get to the front row. Once again, Ida comes up to him. Hey, you there. You made me look stupid and now you're gonna sabotage that girl over there? Deku looks over at him, looking up and looking down before smirking, completely ignoring him and walking on. He walks right past Uraraka before going right to the front. He doesn't even look at either of them. Instead, he puts headphones in, popping them in. He puts some music on, taking a selfie with a fuming Ida in the background. He sends a picture to Bakugo. The caption, "He's hating because I made him look bad. Twice." With a bunch of laughing emojis. Bakugo sends some laughing emojis back before he's cut off, seeing the door in front of him open. Due to him being ignorant and not hearing anything because he had headphones in, he rushes right out, not even looking back as people would start complaining, especially Ida. Like in canon, President Mike tells him to go, go, go! But it was too late. Deku was far gone, and everything down the middle of the city was completely blown up. Deku, as they were arguing, put on horse legs on his legs, running as quick as possible, transforming his right arm into a pistol shrimps and left into a praying mantis's. He smirks, running in at 15% 1 for all speeds, running past the robots on his left and straight up cutting them in half using his praying mantis arm. On his right, he makes lightning quick jabs with his pistol shrimp arm. When they're thrown, they got the speed of sound, making a huge crack and a whip sound every time they connect. He does this for 40 points worth of robots, completely decimating half and slicing the others in half. From there, he switches out, trying to show off a little bit. He would change his legs to rabbits like Miyako. This time, he transforms his arms from tentacles into porcupine spikes. He would mix snake venom and acid in there to straight up melt through another 30 points worth of robot. People behind him are shocked, seeing Deku going on a rampage, jumping from building to building, being strong enough to take out a 2-pointer with straight hands. For about 13 minutes straight, Deku would be on demon time, racking up 140 villain points and about 30 hero points. Deku's kinda happy with this, starting to walk off until, like in canon, he sees people running right at him. He stops to look at them, seeing Ida run as well. He stares him down, sticking his tongue out before the 0-pointer finally appeared. Deku, knowing what was up, decided to run too, turning around to hear someone, a girl, crying for help. Turns back, seeing Uraraka. He weighs his options, looking at the 0-pointer kinda shaky on if he could beat it outright. He decides to save her instead, rushing in with hawk wings on his back. He dives right in, getting into Uraraka as the 0-pointer looms. He sees his leg about to crush them. Knowing he has to move quick, Deku sends out Tentacle, using it to wrap around a nearby building. He would use ant strength in his other arm to lift the rubble off. Using spider eyes, he sees everything above him, watching the 0-pointer starting to go down. Deku now rushes, grabs onto Uraraka, coiling around her leg and shooting himself and her out of the impact zone. Two of them shoot out at top speeds. Deku bringing Uraraka to him, wrapping her with his tentacle. He would shoot towards the pole, grabbing it with his tentacles on his other arm and sliding down. The two of them sigh in relief, Uraraka scared out of her mind, the kids around them cheering for Deku's heroism. In the teacher's room, the examiners look on, Nezu bringing up a file of Deku, telling them all about his quirk. All Might begins flashing back to 10 months ago, to the Sludge Villain attack. Nezu brings up the fact that 2 students this year have already got their hero licenses. Everyone's astounded hearing this. 2 14-year-olds already have their hero license? They're already as good as pros? Nezu knew he had to have them, so at the end of both Deku and Bakugo's exam, he would have a chat to them. Deku would be taken from his exam site right after the exam finished, being taken to watch Bakugo's exam that was still going. Him and Nezu watching as he destroys robot after robot, getting a total of 190 points. Nezu compliments him as they walk, asking the range of his quirk. Deku would tell him that about 4 transformations is the limit. And along with that, he has some ideas that he's been wanting to try out. They would wait a minute, chatting until Bakugo finally finishes. The two of them talking with Nezu a bit about enrollment before getting fully accepted there and then on a full ride scholarship. The two of them are gassed about this, getting special privileges like access to facilities, access to internships immediately, you know, that type of thing. For the next 3 weeks, the two of them would just go around getting comfy, being shown around by some third years and eventually finding their favorite spots to work out. They would also start getting friendly with some of the teachers, Deku getting especially friendly with Aizawa. He respected him as a hero low-key, like, he's been pretty much quirkless, let's be real, like, he can still box. Anyways, they would just train that time off. Eventually, the day would come where the rest of the class would finally arrive. Deku and Bakugo would arrive early. Knowing their way around, they would make their way right into class, seeing that no one was there but Aizawa, sleeping on the floor. They both say hi to him before sitting down, excited they had Aizawa as a teacher. Slowly but surely, people would come in. Deku and Bakugo would be doom scrolling, so, you know, they're not really approached by anyone, they don't stand out or anything. Everyone makes it in and Aizawa finally stands up. Okay class, we're doing a quirk assessment off bat. The class is confused, looking around at each other. Put on your uniforms and meet me outside. Deku and Bakugo right away jump up, knowing what Aizawa could do and how pissed he can get. They walk out like model students, Aizawa pointing at the two of them before the rest of the class follow. They make their way into the gym, all of them getting changed. Kirishima going crazy over Deku and Bakugo's bodies. Pause. They're like 3 times the size they were in canon. He's like, whoa! What type of training do you guys even do? You guys look like you ate a whole person. The two of them look at each other and laugh, saying that they've been working out for a good while now, and that he himself isn't too bad, you know. They would all chat for a little bit and then go out to Aizawa to complete the quirk assessment. As they sit in the hot sun on the field, Deku is throwing the ball. He looks down at it, looking to see it was a normal ball. Aizawa starts yapping until eventually Deku is told to throw it. He thinks for a second. How could he even make the max out of this? He nods after thinking, growing a tentacle from his elbow down and manifesting an ant's arm from its elbow to his shoulder. He smirks, seeing that it actually worked, a combo he'd never tried before. He puts the ball in his tentacle arm, telling the class to take a step back before throwing his arm back as far as possible. He looks like he's loading up a gum pistol. He whips it forward, sending that shit into the atmosphere, using an ant's strength along with the tentacles' flexibility to rocket it. The ball would go flying, getting a score of 2.8 kilometers. The ball's starting to burn up just how quick it was going. People stared on, completely dumbfounded. What happened to his arm, and how did he throw it so hard? One voice comes out above the others. Damn, Deku, what the hell was that? Deku looks back to see Bakugo's face agape. I decided to use an ant strength this time. I didn't think it would work out. I wonder what else I could use this for. He walks back to the line, Aizawa smirking, impressed as anything. The class like in canon would say this looked fun, and like in canon, Aizawa would threaten to expel them. Ooh. Knowing this, the class locks in, and the rest of the test go like this. For the 50-meter dash, Deku would transform his legs into grasshopper legs for top speed and max power, getting a 50-meter dash of 1 second on the dot. For the grip strength, Deku uses a gecko's grip actually to help him grip it, along with using a lobster's claw to completely destroy the machine, snapping it clean in half. During the long jump, Deku uses a frog legs, this time to get as high as possible, before switching his arms to a falcon arms, gliding down and getting a score of like 200 meters. In the side-to-side test, Deku would use spider silk actually, making 2 walls on either side of it. He throws himself full speed into one of them, bouncing between the 2 walls as quickly as possible, even beating out Mineta. Deku would get an easy first place, his quirk being way too good variety-wise for him not to. Bakugo would get second place because of his upgrade, and in this what if, the rest followers in canon. People right off bat know they gotta work harder, seeing Deku and Bakugo already this far ahead. The two of them walk off to the showers, using their agreement with Nezu to go freshen up real quick. As they walk off, the class stares them down, noticing the difference in strength. Aizawa, seeing them all staring, decides to speak up. Don't feel bad, trust me. Those two are in a different league. They worked with a pro hero for years and they already have their pro hero license. Don't compare yourself to those two, you'll only end up losing. Which sounds cold! In the end, no one ends up getting expelled, Aizawa just wanting to see what everyone was like in comparison to each other, seeing a clear difference from the get-go. Everything after class goes as normal, Deku and Bakugo are coming back freshened up. The class would go nuts, asking them all type of questions, asking if they really have their license already, just having a nice little yap. This is until someone familiar rocks up to class, opening the door as quickly as possible and walking through it like a normal person. And that's the end of part 2. I hope you enjoyed it again. I'm going to calm down on him being like too OP because I've got a couple ideas cooking in the back, and if I keep going with the way I'm going right now, he's going to be just like friggin' all for one level. So yeah, nah. Anyways, hope to see you in part 3 and hope you have been enjoying. I've been loving like recording, freaking writing this. I just love this quirk, genuinely. This quirk is sick. That being said, yeah, if you made it this far, please comment the word water bottle. Yeah, comment the word water bottle for a pin, and yeah, hope to see you in the next one. I also hope you've been liking this like this editing style. It's been a little bit of a pain to record. It takes me like an hour to record each part. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's worth it. It's better than editing it.